it's easier to divorce your spouse than it is to fire a federal employee. Why did the FBI give Mr. Strzok $1.2 million and Ms. Page $800,000 to settle a lawsuit?
Senator, I do not know that settlement was reached in the prior administration.
Who made the decision?
The prior Department of Justice.
Who in the prior Department of Justice?
The settlement for that kind of case can only come from the Attorney General, which would be Attorney General Merrick Garland.
So the Attorney General decided to give Mr. Strzok $1.2 million and Ms. Page $800,000 after they were fired after actively interfering in the 2016 election. Is that right?
My understanding is that was a settlement they agreed to.
Pass me the sick bucket, please.
Equal justice under the law means everybody. That's Senator John Kennedy. And when he says it, somebody in Washington is about to squirm. Folks, grab a seat, get comfortable, and make sure you like and subscribe to 50 Patriots. Because what Kennedy just did to the FBI director was brutal, and it ended with the Epstein question nobody wants answered. Let's dive right back into it.
Mr. Director, worry not. We'll make sure your agency is adequately funded. This judge you arrested in Wisconsin, she was breaking federal law, wasn't she?
Yes, that's why we arrested her.
She was helping an illegal immigrant escape being taken into custody. Is that right?
Yes, and the field agents decided to open the case, work the case.
And as Americans, do we get to pick and choose which laws we want to follow?
We do not.
If you're a state court judge, do you get to decide you don't want to follow federal law?
No.
And if you violate federal law, you get arrested, don't you?
Yes, Senator.
That's called equal treatment under the law, isn't it?
Yes, Senator.
You remember Lisa Page and Peter Strzok, don't you?
Yes, Senator.
Mr. Strzok worked for the FBI. Mr. Strzok worked for the FBI. I think Ms. Page worked for Justice. The Inspector General found in its investigation that they hated President Trump and they really wanted Secretary Clinton to win. Is that true?
That's correct, sir.
And this would be the same same Ms. Page who sent an email to Mr. Strzok with whom she was having an affair. Trump's not ever going to become president, right? Right? And Mr. Strzok with the FBI, senior official at the FBI replied, quote, no, he won't. We'll stop it. Did I read that correctly?
You did, Senator.
Okay. Now, Ms. Page got quit before she could get fired. Mr. Strzok was fired. And predictably, they filed a lawsuit because in Washington, it's easier to divorce your spouse than it is to fire a federal employee. Why did the FBI give Mr. Strzok $1.2 million and Ms. Page $800,000 to settle a lawsuit?
Senator, I do not know that settlement was reached in the prior administration.
Who made the decision?
The prior Department of Justice.
Who in the prior Department of Justice?
The settlement for that kind of case can only come from the Attorney General, which would be Attorney General Merrick Garland.
So the Attorney General decided to give Mr. Strzok $1.2 million and Ms. Page $800,000 after they were fired after actively interfering in the 2016 election. Is that right?
My understanding is that was a settlement they agreed to.
Pass me the sick bucket, please. The Hunter Biden laptop. In October of 2016, shortly before the election, the New York Post wrote a story that was widely covered talking about Mr. Hunter Biden's influence peddling scheme based on his laptop. A couple of weeks later, Secretary of State, soon to be Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, organized a group of 51 so-called intelligence experts had some real rock stars on the list. Jim Clapper, John Brennan, Michael Hayden, Leon Panetta, and they said, oh, no, the story in the New York Post is not true. It's based on Russian disinformation. You remember that?
I do, Senator, as the lead investigator for Russiagate for the House Intel Committee.
Yeah. The FBI had the laptop for 10 months, hadn't they?
They did, Senator.
So the FBI knew right before the election that it wasn't Russian disinformation, didn't they?
And that was confirmed by the Inspector General's report.
Yeah. Who at the FBI refused to let the FBI tell the American people the truth?
I don't have that name in front of me, sir.
Well, would you look?
I will, sir.
I'd like to know. I'd like a name, not a division. I'd like the name. Person with a brain and a beating heart.
Yes, sir.
Did Jeffrey Epstein hang himself or did somebody kill him?
Senator, I believe he hung himself in a cell in the Metropolitan Detention Center.
Are you going to release all the information about that?
Senator, we are working through that right now with the Department of Justice.
When do you think you'll have it done, Cash?
I think in the near future, sir.
Like before I die?
Senator, we've been working on that, and we're doing it in a way that protects victims and also doesn't put out into the ether information that is irrelevant for production of the public, such as CSAM.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Reid.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Director. As you're well aware, DOJ.
This hearing starts calm, but don't be fooled. Senator John Kennedy walks in smiling, but every word is a setup. He begins by laying down a basic principle. Americans don't get to pick which laws they follow. Judges don't get a pass. If you break federal law, you get arrested. Period. Equal treatment under the law. Something Washington loves to preach and hates to practice. Then Kennedy shifts gears, and you can feel the temperature change. He brings up Lisa Page and Peter Strzok, two deeply political operatives inside the FBI who openly despise President Trump and vow to stop it. Not speculation, not rumor, documented text messages. Kennedy calmly walks through it. Strzok gets fired. Page quits before she can be fired. And then, unbelievably, the Department of Justice cuts the massive settlement checks, millions of dollars, for interfering in an election. Kennedy's response? Pass me the sick bucket. Washington corruption summed up in 6 words. Next, Kennedy turns to the Hunter Biden laptop. He reminds everyone the FBI had that laptop for 10 months before the election. 10 months. They knew it was real. They knew it wasn't Russian disinformation. And yet, 51 so-called intelligence experts were allowed to lie to the American people weeks before voters went to polls. Kennedy demands accountability, not a division, not a committee, a name, a real person with a brain and a beating heart who decided Americans didn't deserve the truth. And then, the moment that made the room freeze, Kennedy looks the FBI director straight in the eye and asks the question every American has asked for years. Did Jeffrey Epstein hang himself, or did somebody kill him? No speeches, no rambling, just a question. The answer comes back. The director says he believes Epstein hung himself. Kennedy immediately follows up, will all the information be released? The answer, they're working on it. In the near future. Washington translation? We'll see. But here's what matters. John Kennedy forced a question onto the record. No dodging. No distractions, no talking points, just truth versus power, and power didn't look comfortable. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe to 50 Patriots, share this with friends who follow political hearings, and see you in the next one.